Well, hello, and welcome back. I don't know what happened there, if I wasn't streaming at all or if the stream just stopped randomly. But in any case, now we're back, and I'm going to let me clean this up. So, quick recap. So, in the last bit, I got the Google authentication working on the back end as well. Had to fix a couple of bugs as I was changing some functions. Didn't change all of the occurrences where a function was used as I was changing its options. Got that fixed, but at the very start, I got an ocular migraine, which shifted into a headache, which then, as soon as I ended, shifted into a full blown migraine and was feeling terribly sick. But now I feel better. I don't know exactly what the onset of all that was, but yeah, I might maybe get a migraine once a year or something like that. In any case, now what I need to do is finish up because I just kind of wrapped up very hurriedly and didn't get anything clean. And there was one other thing that we needed to do, which was right now, if we refresh, we get an empty page. Oh, well, no, now we get this message because I just made this change. I'm going to do a git diff. This is what I did while I thought I was streaming, but I wasn't. So needed to add a place to clear the cookie, which is basically just we set the cookie to an expired value. So I realized that this expires was set to 0 by default, which is not what we want. So I commented that out, and then I added this app.delete API authn session, and I'm going to add a little button that when we click it, it does a delete request to this URL, which it doesn't matter whether the person's logged in or not. It's going to set an empty value for the ID token cookie, and it's going to set the expiration date to 10 minutes ago to account for any possible time skew or anything like that, so a browser doesn't try to send it. And then date.now gives us milliseconds minus 10 minutes ago in milliseconds. Create a new date object, pass that date object to as cookie ops to res.cookie, which is the express cookie parser middleware, which it will then convert into the correct format, which is a really weird format because the way the web evolved, date formats were standardized again and again over time, and the very first couple of date formats were just stupid, nonsense formats. I'm sure they made sense at the time because it's the way that certain people in office buildings liked dates to be formatted, but did not make sense for computers at all. In any case, so we've got that the cookie gets set, but it gets set to an expired time with an empty value. This is how we delete the cookie. And then I decided to factor out this little bit where we're saying, congrats, you win, you got a token, or no token, something wrong. Because this is basically, once we think we have a token, then we should call this do stuff with user, which is going to be replaced by the actual real code when this goes into the real project. So we just add this do stuff with user so that we will check the token in both places. Both, I had forgotten to do this before, where there's a refresh token, it was being logged out, but there was no user to the indication to the user, both with the refresh token and with the Google Auth token, anywhere we're doing the token exchange where the person's getting back a cookie in their browser. So the next step in putting in this delete route is going to be changing the front end so that there actually is a logout button. So let me go into index.html here. And then where we have our Google sign-in button, we will also have a logout button. And this will also be hidden by default. And we will call this JS authn logout. Or we could probably just call it JS logout. Now this is not going to log us out of Google. This is only going to log us out of the application. So there are some places where, depending on what you're using in terms of Google sign-in and whatnot, you may need to make a post to another URL or use one of their library functions and then maybe see what it's actually doing so that you can copy just that instead of the whole 100K of whatever the library is. But you sometimes do need to post to, say, Google or some other service provider to let them know, hey, this user wants to log out of everything. That's, or at least, at the very least, it doesn't necessarily mean that it will log them out of Google, but it will tell Google that it should not automatically issue a token again, but rather it should come back to the prompt where it says, hey, do you want to authorize this app? That sort of thing. Anyway, so we added the button. Now we just need to wire it up to something. So I'm going to go, first of all, if we get to the point where it says you win, let me do this. If not ID token and not access token, no token, something went wrong. And then we can just return from here. Otherwise, we're going to, well, I guess I don't need to, there's no sense in copying that. It doesn't save me any time. So we're going to do our JS logout dot hidden equals true. No, dot hidden equals false. So we're going to show our logout button. And actually, I would like to make that a button, not just a link. So let me go do that. Okay, and then we need to make sure that this button is of type button, because the default type of a button is submit. And we're not in a form here, so maybe the default type would be button. But there's no default action for a button. It's just, you know, you click it and it looks like it gets clicked and that's it. So I think maybe I want to put the type ahead here. I'll leave it there, whatever. All right, that's that. So let's go back here and we want to attach a handler. Where am I attaching my handlers? Somewhere, I think, maybe. Oh, I don't have any handlers yet. I'm not attaching any handlers because I don't have any yet. So let's go back to where I did JS logout. I guess I can assign it right here. That's just as well. Yeah, this looks like a good place to put it. So I'm going to do... now this is not the best way to go about this. You shouldn't really attach handlers directly onto an element. You should attach it on the body and then see if the target is that element because it bubbles up. But we're going to do this way right now because it is easier to talk about and I don't have as much time to go do this, and it doesn't much matter anyway because this is just the demo code that is going to be provided as the here's something that works, adapt it to the view, adapt it to the React. And by the way, it is one Vue app and one React app that this code is going to end up in. Okay, so add event listener is click. Yeah, I guess that's what it is. And then EV prevent default. I don't even know what the default action on that is. And stop propagation. There we are. And then instead, what we want to do is, let me go get the fetch. The fetch has got a post there. Sure, why not? Let me just copy this bit. I probably would do well to just wrap these couple of lines. No, it's so simple. There's no point in wrapping it. Oh, I went to the wrong function. Let me go back. Oh, bless me. Here it is. There it is. That's what we need to do, but we need to replace this with session, and we need to replace method with delete, and we don't need any headers of any kind, and there is no reason that this should fail, but if it does for some reason somehow, we'll catch it. And oh, we need to decide what result to give back to the user on this. What it should be. I guess it should just be success true. That's probably because no matter what, it's going to be successful. Oh, and this is an async function. But really, do we need the async bits of this? Yeah, let's keep them. Because we're doing a catch, so it shouldn't be possible for this to fail. And then window.alert logged out. Okay. That looks about right. I like to put a space in between that there. Yeah. So we're logging the user out. Let me go back into, whoops, the main app.js. Take a look at the delete here. And then let's make sure that we return something sensible. And again, I'm using the @root async router middleware for Express so that, I don't know, I guess I should just do this. I'm kind of going back and forth on it. This is more explicit. It's more what people are used to. But with what I'm doing, it doesn't have to be done. But I'm just going to put success true here. And then we should, when we refresh this, we should get a sign out button. Congrats, you win. All right, and a nice little logout button. So when we click logout, logged out. Okay, now if we hit refresh again, we should see the Google sign in. Okay. So that wasn't quite right. I did that wrong. Let's go back here. What did I do wrong? Do stuff with user. So basically, if there is all right, let me go back then. I consider this to be simpler, to have an or rather than two nots and an and. So I'm going to say, if we have the token, do stuff with user return. That makes sense. Otherwise, I guess I had this logging in here. Whoa, that was weird. Huh. Good old asynchronous buffer checks there. Okay, this is correct now. So if there is a token, go do stuff with the user. It's going to give the pop-up that says, hey, this is just debugging. We don't really need it, but I'm going to leave it in for a second. So page loads, Google sign-in's there. Great. We click Google sign-in. Just make sure we can go through the whole process here. And I'm not going to update. Well, I am going to update the test with the delete. I just got to do it in like 5 minutes because let me put a timer on this. Because I really do have to leave now that my headache's over. Granted, this is work stuff, but I have to go do the integration bits that I can't publish, and I want to be in the office as well. Okay, cool. So now we've got the logout button. If I refresh, ooh, let's see what happens here. Okay, here's another bit that I forgot to do. I need to get rid of all of this nonsense. And there's also some state value stuff that I'm not handling right now, but I need to get rid of all of that nonsense once it is parsed. So let me go parse query string, if not query string ... else we need to do document.location.hash equals nothing. Yeah. Okay, what would happen here? So let's say that there is no ID token, so we don't need to clear it out. Here there is an ID token, so we do need to clear it out. And essentially all of this stuff should go into a function. So let's call that like what it is. Well, I'm just going to leave it for now. All right, let's save that. Let's refresh here. Okay, it gets rid of that. I wish we could get rid of this entirely. I just like get rid of it. Be gone with you. But I guess the only way to do that, let's see, would be to set the path name maybe. Let's Google this real quick. Remove hash from URL JavaScript. What's the other name for this? Octothorpe. Yeah, there we go. Exact problem that I'm having. So I can set window.location.hash, but then I still have the hash. Ugh. Using push state to do this. Ugh. Refreshes the page. Trifle rude. Maintain search parameters. Yes. Yes. Okay. Is it document? I hate it. I guess I can't say I hate it. I prefer it much more when people do either document.history or document.location.history, because there's so many global objects in JavaScript, and I want to know precisely what are we operating on. Is there, let's see, document.history? Is that what it is? History? No. Is it document.location.history? No. Is it is it really just window.history? Okay, if you say so. All right, let's double check on that. Window.history. Okay, it's window.history. So I just prefer knowing that is it document.history, is it window.history, is it opener.history, which global object amalgamation does it belong to? And this, I think, has got really good browser support. I think this has been around forever. Yeah, it's even in Internet Explorer. It looks like. That can't be right. Internet Explorer 4? No. Really? Oh, push state. Okay, let's see this. Let's go to, can I use push state? I'm pretty sure that in either of these applications, none of the customers are using a browser so old that it can't use push state. But I just want to check and see, what are we looking at? Opera Mini, I don't even remember what that is. Oh, it's even in UC browser. Yeah, if it's in UC browser, because to me, Android browser is basically the new Internet Explorer. That's the lowest target, because tons of people still have Android browser. And then KaiOS is, it's like a lot of people in the world are using KaiOS. It says global 0.1%, but that, I don't know that that's accurate. I think maybe whatever they're using to capture this data, because and I don't know, it all depends. We're in a US market. We don't care about KaiOS in the US market as far as I'm aware. I don't think that that's a popular OS. I believe this was the previously Firefox OS, and now it's, I don't want to misspeak, but I think it's an Indian company that owns the IP for it now and is continuing to develop it. And, India is a big place, but even if it's not India, Asia is a big part of the world, and we often don't count that in our metrics and stuff. Anyway, I'm out of time. Let me go ahead and paste this in here, but I'm going to put window.history so that we're clear that this is part of the window object, because it is not part of JavaScript. And there we are. Let me refresh this. Okay, can I take 5 more minutes? I can take up to 5 more minutes. I can do that. I'm going to give myself 5 more minutes on this. Okay, you win. You got a token. Let's go back here. Great. Log out. Logged out. I should probably, on that logout, here's something we need to do for this. Again, this is a demo, so function. I'm going to call this a init. It's kind of a bad name, but we're going to go with it. So when I do logout, I think I should do init again. Oh, and then async. Right, we need to make this an async function. So async function init, await init, and then I don't think there's any way for this to have an error thrown because I think we're already handling it, but I'll do my die function, which basically will log the error and then rethrow it and give the user a message like there was a really unexpected error. Because it's better to give the user an ugly-ish error message that might have some technical details in it than it is to just have the page do nothing. I hate that. It's the worst thing when you get no feedback. It's better to get some, hey, something went crazy wrong feedback than it is to get, so my die function gives that. And then when we do the logout, we need to run init again. That would be my hypothesis. That's not the right word, but whatever. So we're going to refresh here. Now we've got Google sign-in. We're going to go through the Google sign-in process. And it should not be asking me this every single time. It should just be doing a quick, fast redirect. There's some parameter that I'm passing not correctly that every time I click Google sign-in, it's actually asking me, what do you want to do? Okay, you in, you got a token, great. You're logged out. I need to hide that as well. Duh. So let's go to our init. And where is our hidden stuff? Whoops. I'm just copying those. That's the only two places, right? Yeah. And then let's go back up to the top of our init. And let's just hide them. There we go. So now, if I just do this whole process, full loop through, whoops. I can sign in. I don't know why this is so slow right now. I don't know what's up with my internet connection. It looks like my video is a little bit blip, blip, blip as well in the stream. Okay, why did it not click when I clicked? Okay, got the token. Great. It's showing the logout button. I'm going to refresh. Should still be showing the logout button. Yep. Awesome. And then are we still streaming? Yeah, we are. Good. Because there was that problem before where it looked like the stream stopped midway. I am going to open up the YouTube stream real quick just to check for comments. I think I do have the Twitch stream open. It looks like everything's working. I don't see any comments there. But, all right, so I think this is good now. I hit refresh. It still does the right thing. I hit logout. It does the right thing. I hit refresh again. It does the right thing. So it seems like every state does the right thing, and I can do it over and over again and get the right answer. All right, so with that, our delete endpoint is, well, it's almost done. The only thing that I need to do is add a test for it, which we've got some extra garbage in here that I put in here for debugging last time that I need to get rid of now. Was that it? It looks like it may have been. What is going on with my computer? It's so jittery and messed up. Okay. Okay, last thing. So I guess we didn't get around to the cleanup that I wanted to get to. So I'll have to rename this again. I put in the title what I think I'm going to do, but then as I do it, sometimes it's different. So I should be able to, the way to test this would be to log out when I'm logged in and then check to see that I can log out again. The other way to test this would be I should be able, I should not get an error. Oh yeah, that's fine. So let's say expecting success for logout no matter, even when not logged in. And that's good enough. So if I don't send cookies, I'm definitely not logged in. And then back down here at the end, expecting success for logout when logged in. So let's copy over the cookies. Oh, this probably should have cookies too. Right? Expecting new access token. Exchange. Oh no, that one doesn't need cookies. That's why it doesn't have cookies. Okay, so that one will have cookies, which means that if I do something that should have an access token, I should not get one now. So this should be expecting error logged out. So no, I don't want that. I want one that relies on the cookies alone. So that should be refresh, I think. Yeah. So this should be good. I don't know that I actually want the JQ in there on this one. All right, and I don't need to capture the access token because I'm not actually going to do that. There we go. And I don't need to do that. All right, I've definitely maxed out on the productiveness of doing tests in Bash. Oh, I'm gonna put this expecting to exchange Google token dead last because I don't yet have a mechanism to validate. In fact, I think that even belongs in a different test file because I don't yet have a mechanism to validate it. So I'll put this whole thing in an if, what is it, not empty? No, if is empty is this. And I am running up against time. I need to leave. Then fee, there we go. And I guess it doesn't need quotes around it. Okay. So -z is, no, -n is if not empty. And then I need to go make my Google token empty because I don't want to test that right now. And I'd have to update the test token to be one that's not expired because I need to go update my library to allow it to validate things with and allow expired things to be validated. All right. That was wrong, not because it was wrong, but because what's going on? Where was that? This right here. This was what was wrong. So we want to delete. There we go. And I want to get rid of that -v. So that was showing too much output. I go through this stuff really fast, especially when I'm in a hurry. Okay, looking good, looking good. Expecting error logged out. Google test token unbound variable. That's okay. I do need to change that so that we do empty string if the token's not defined, which it wasn't. And let's try this one more time. Cool, great, excellent. All tests are passing. All right, so that's what we actually did. What we actually did was we implemented the logout. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay. Okay, this was, I don't know, some fixes and logout. I'm going to change these commit messages later, but I need to go, so. All right, if this was useful for you at all, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. If you want to see more of the live stuff, you can subscribe to the live channel, which is down in the doobly-doo, and then you can also subscribe to the Beyond Code channel if you want that. Be sure to share with a friend if you think this will be useful for somebody else. Any questions, comments, feedback that you have, put them in the comments down below, and I'll catch you later. I'm out. Adios. Oh yeah, I can't say I'm out. That's somebody else's line. I'm adios. So, adios.